the provisions are drafted very, very wide, and I have no doubt that that is done to allow things to progress. But here is the danger in that approach. A lot of what the bill would authorize to be done by either the authority, which would be the CEO, because the Clause 5 tells you that the CEO shall act on behalf of the authority and be responsible for the day-to-day management of the authority. And then in more than one place, the bill tells you that notwithstanding anything to the contrary in any other law, and also that when the minister steps in, the minister can do anything. That is how wide, in effect, the minister can do anything. That is how wide it is. So, and the step in order, clause 24, which we were directed to pay close attention to, tells you that the minister can approve, subject to any term or condition, an application made or submitted to the authority, by the authority to an approving entity on which the approving entity has not made a decision, and then vary, modify, or remove a term, condition, or qualification to which an approval was made subject. And a step in order shall have effect in all respects in law, as if that step in order was an approval granted by the approving entity to which the authority first made application.
Embarrassing.
Approving entity in clause 2 means the local authority, a local authority. And we know that under the Local Governance Act, the local authority is a municipal corporation, city municipalities, or town municipalities, or public body that exercises any statutory, regulatory, administrative, or operational function where the exercise of that function is required for the implementation, execution, or delivery of an approved construction and resilience project or a designated strategic investment project, including functions relating to physical planning and development control, building control, including the issuance of building permits and the conduct of inspections, land subdivision, land use and zoning, environmental management, natural resource conservation and environmental permits, approvals relating to water supply, sewage and drainage, roads, highways and transportation infrastructure, electricity, telecoms and other utility service, and disaster risk management and hazard mitigation. So the stepping order to have the effect in all respects in law, as if the stepping order was an approval granted by the approving entity, will mean that the other processes that are involved will be impacted. Now, the Prime Minister said that you would not be sacrificing the accountability for speed. But in this current form, it will do that.
Mighty God.
So, for example, in looking at current form, the accountability for speed, you would not be sacrificed. Now, the Prime Minister said that you would not be sacrificing the accountability for speed, but in this current form, it will do that.
What can go so?
So, for example, in looking at
the approving
entity, You know,
Like
I
and share
usually
live.
speak with my constituents about bills that are before the Parliament, a habit I got into very early. And all of these functions listed here would normally be carried out by the Planning and Environmental Committee, utilizing the Town and
Yeah,
Council
man,
Plan
like and
Act,
share up the live, guys.
the Building Act, and the Local Improvement Act, among others. And you would have persons like, so you would have the Council of the Local Authority, which would be all elected councillors. You have the NEPO. In the case, if I were to use the example of Montego Bay, where I did my research, you would have the Mobay Metro, JPS, Water Commission, NWC, Flow, Digicel, the city engineer. You would have a host, the director of planning, the building, the city engineer, all of that. And in respect of the consultation, because all of these processes involve some level of consultation, and the bill is not omitting consultation, but it does not specify with whom the consultations should take place. But what we know is that where a law creates a duty to consult, or where there is a duty to consult, either because the law creates it or there is a consistent practice of consultation, the consultation has to be meaningful. And at least these criteria must be met. So the consultation has to be undertaken when the proposal is at a formative stage, the proposal to do whatever is to be done. Sufficient reasons must be given for the proposal to enable an informed response to be provided. Adequate time must be allowed for the response to the proposal. And then the product of the consultation must be conscientiously taken into account when the ultimate decision is being made. Where there is a duty to consult, fairness may also require disclosure.
Calvin, what's up, my brother?
Party
respect.
Technical matters.
Respect, Calvin.
On which a proposal is being made, on which you're going to have reliance. So the bill would need some reworking in order to achieve. Don't clap. Before you clap, the member and the minister have already said that time would be allowed to take into account all of the proposals.
Marlin Malawo. Miss Marlin Malawo Ford. You can't defend Andrew. Though you can't defend Andrew. You came today and you're speaking the truth. And we are going to clap because finally a labor right on that side is telling the truth. We don't hear it regularly, so we have to clap. Calvin, my brother, big up yourself, one of my day ones. Respect. We have to tell the truth. We have to clap. This is like an eclipse. How many times does an eclipse come? Like every 25 years or 50 years or something like that? It's very rare that you see an eclipse. This is an eclipse moment. All right? So we know you are pretty it up already, you know, but we are here to tell you that it's ugly. And make the people them know, say this ugly. That somebody on that side, they can look for the Prime Minister and say, bro, these are some gaps right here, fam. And I'm detailing the gaps. And there are so many gaps. This is not how the JLP has operated in the last 10 years. So this is an eclipse moment. Let's continue.
And you look at what amendments have to be made. But to take into account, I've already said that time would be allowed to take into account all of the proposals, and you look at what amendments have to be made. So that is a decision that has already been taken. So, next point I wish to address. Clause 13. The bill uses what we collectively call statutory instrument, delegated legislation. So the bill is asking Parliament to grant very wide powers to the authority being the CEO, and then the minister who steps in. Very, very wide. And then it is also asking that we delegate to the authority and the minister the power to also make laws. And
who not listen? Make sure not listening. No?
And the bill, so directions are to be given. Generally, directions do not take on the character of law. But the way that it is drafted in this bill, there is no doubt that those directions amount to law. So the bill provides that a contravention of any direction,
can go so
do not take on the character of law. But the way that it is drafted in this bill,
yes,
there is no doubt that those directions amount to law at a lower level. So the bill provides that a contravention of any direction under clause 13 shall not invalidate any transaction. That is at clause 13, so clause 4. The nature of the direction.
People, this
includes ensuring that approved reconstruction and resilience projects and designated strategic investment projects are implemented in accordance with the terms of the cabinet approval and public interest. But the way it is drafted, it begs the question as to what will happen if the contravention is so unreasonable that the minister or the authority could not be taken to have authorized it. And what if the contravention is done on grounds of bad faith, improper motive, or is just manifestly absurd? And what if private interest trumps the public interest? Now, it is true that not every contravention trumps the public interest. And what if private interest trumps the public interest?
That's huge.
Now,
that's a big question.
Not every contravention will vitiate an action. The bill in its current form will not achieve the goals that are. Madam Speaker, the bill in its current form will not achieve the goals that are set. Thank you, member.
Yo, the man them lock off the mic for Parliament. Them vex. Them vex Jamaica. No, Marlin Malawo Fort just deleted the NARRA bill. Say no to the NARRA bill in its current form. This is similar to when they tried to put the NITs forward. There was so much things wrong with the NITs, you could actually take them to court for it. If this law is passed in its current form, it is going to lead. We are basically trusting the CEO and the minister to manage all of those funds in whatever way they want to manage it. Oh, by the way, there's even a part of it that Colin Bell was saying suggests that, yo, if anything happen, the CEO cannot be taken in front of the court for nothing. Basically, it's like not having an impeachment clause. Listen, big up Marlin Malawo Ford for telling the truth, although she wanna try to rub in the salt very, very lightly in the wound. But after what the PMP came and did, for her to come and validate every concern that they had, bruh, This is embarrassing for Andrew Holness. Very, very embarrassing for the entire. You understand? Big up yourself. Thank you for the gift, bro. For the entire. This is embarrassing for the entire government. For them to try to put a bill in front of the parliament of this magnitude that is supposed to deal with the post-hurricane rebuild of Jamaica, and it has this many flaws in it. And we're gonna get into more now. But I had to start with Marlene Malawu for it because she's a part of the government. She's actually a part of the government, and she's the one saying this. You cannot make this up. You see me? You can't make this up. So let me know what y'all think about that, man. Where you say, is that a comment? Did you say you sent 100 to where? The Cash App? You sent 100 to the Cash App? You serious? Hold on, wait a minute. I don't see nothing like that. Oh, you. Oh, that's. Wait, hold on. That's 10. You said 100 or 10. Is it 100 or 10? I see a 10. But I appreciate you, brother. Respect. I just saw it. Respect, my brother. Every time, man. Now, let's get to the next part of this, ladies and gentlemen. I went forward, but I have to go back. So, no, I'm not going to deal with Marky G yet. Let me deal with after Mark Golding. All right? And I have to say big up to Damian Crawford. No, seriously. Salute to Damian Crawford. Real talk. Because what her name is, the Speaker of the House, the Prime Minister's wife, was doing the most today. She was doing the most. Andrew Holness bill was getting, after 6 months of consideration, like this is the best that they came up with. What's going on, Angela? Bless up yourself. Good night. Good night. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. This is. So now we're gonna move to Damian Crawford, ladies and gentlemen, and the teacher came and he just spanked up the entire Jamaica Labour Party. Real talk, let's get it. Hold on. You know that Damian Crawford came and spanked up the Jamaica Labour Party, so we're gonna get into this now, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey y'all, please remember to hit the like button. I know y'all come in sometimes and y'all forget, but the main thing, man, y'all gotta hit the like button, man, and share the live stream. Come on now, stop playing. Support. The like button is free, heard?
That's right. He ain't never lie. That like button is free, heard?
Almost a cross causing. Find it unfortunate. I find it unfortunate that such overreach is causing for this debate to deteriorate into almost a cross quarrel. I also want to remind the House of a statement made by the member from East Portland consistently that context matters. And a bill of this importance, I can't see why we're so hard and fast on time and the time of the leader of the opposition in particular. Now, the multiplicity of causes had called for the Prime Minister himself to need for adequate coverage 2 hours. None of us there are expecting 2 hours ourselves. But the side, you open. And yeah, okay, so 1.5 hours minus interruption. But the importance of this bill, as has been highlighted by the Prime Minister, I don't think that it is reasonable for us to have been all intervention. In fact, there was an invitation from the Prime Minister for serious intervention upon this bill. And so I find that, and I will begin in short order, but there's a problem with Parliament if the Speaker dominates the Parliament, and that is what we are having. The speaker get more time than the speakers. But let us start. Madam Speaker.
No, you know, honestly, that needed to be said. And I want to say thank you from me to Damian Crawford. The way how this parliament deals with the leader of the opposition with a lack of respect, and also the speaker of the house, because she's the wife of the prime minister, and because it Bonar said Mark Golden is intellectually spanking Andrew Holness all across. He ripped apart the bill, ladies and gentlemen, shred it up in the grinder. It didn't have to be put into flames because it was already so hot. It started. He never have to light to a match. Just the ripping up of the bill alone, let the bill go in a flames. Over. Finito. Done. Like go recast the budget and recast the NARRA bill. Like he need a total overall. Rip it up and dash it away. And because he was embarrassing the prime minister, she couldn't take him and get embarrassed no more. So she had to talk about time and one bag of something. She couldn't make the man say the last 7 words them in her presentation. She had to cut off his mic. And this is why she cannot be the speaker of the house, because of her bias towards her husband and her party. Alright? Real talk. Let's continue. That's disgusting, man.
The conversation of this bill. Madam Speaker. The conversation of this bill. The conversation on the bill should rightfully start with the objectives of the bill. The objectives I've stated within the bill are as follows: for the efficient, coordinated, and transparent management of extraordinary time-bound reconstruction and resilience efforts, to focus on building back better, to withstand the future climatic and geophysical events. Additionally, it speaks to B, to create a more robust climate-resilient infrastructure, encouraging better land use and planning. C, to expedite private and public-private investment in priority sectors that address the structural economic vulnerabilities exposed by Hurricane Melissa, and to enable growth and diversification in Jamaica's economic base. Before we go outside, let us first recognize that Mr. Prime Minister, I want you to listen in particular, because I was a little bit surprised that within what the mandate was stated, that to enable growth and diversification of Jamaican economic base was found to be necessary in this particular bill under the NARRA. However, the realities of Melissa are strong enough to support the bill. And because it is strong enough to support this bill, it is why I felt that it was unnecessary for exaggerations in some of our claims and conversations. Some of those exaggerations would include what is often repeated, that this was 4 times what was Hurricane Gilbert. And if we do not consider the reality of inflation and just the simple numbers, maybe we can come to that conclusion. However, the IDB indicated, and I quote, compared to the last major hurricane to strike Jamaica, Hurricane Gilbert in 1988, Hurricane Melissa was significantly more intense. Yet, while Gilbert, a Category 3 storm, caused damage estimated at 65% of GDP, Hurricane Melissa is estimated to have caused 12.2 billion, or 56.7% of GDP. So, without the grandstanding, Melissa is sufficient to stand on its own. And therefore, I became cautious when I read within the bill 4 times that of Hurricane Gilbert. Not very necessary.
Now, Jamaica, let me break it down for you. Andrew Holness just lied. Andrew Holness exaggerated the effects of Hurricane Melissa. And the man is saying, listen, understand what inflation is and understand numbers. It is not accurate for you to say it is 4 times. Right? It's not, bro. Because the percentage of damage was greater in Gilbert. The percentage of damage here is less than Gilbert. So how is it 4 times? And if you look at inflation and the value of the dollar, and what a dollar was then and what a dollar is now, you can't come up with that claim. I know it's pretty scientific, But him our brain box, Andrew is not so much. Let's continue.
So what we have to go therefore is, what are the malice that we're seeking?
Hey, Empress
to solve?
Norma,
And we're
Laura, how are
speaking
you?
A few of the malice that we are seeking to solve. The mischief that we are seeking to solve.
Yeah.
One of those mischief that was identified would have been that of speed. And one of those mischief that we were seeking to identify, yes, would have been that of speed. That there was quite a few realities of institutions that were too segmented, weren't working together, and that they did not qualify for the spectrum of work that was needed and the money that was needed to be spent. However, as has been highlighted by the minister, the leader of opposition, was that some of the chief entities of bottleneck would not have been included under this bill. So when you look at the reality, that it indicates that it does not include agencies like the NEPAs and the customs and the NAA. Those are some of the major contributors of bottleneck. And so therefore, how is it then that this bill would not have included those? While at the same time, had they been included, there would have been cause for caution as well. Because how could this entity be seeking to direct, for example, a NEPA in how NEPA should function and how it should go about its business? Indeed, Mr. Prime Minister, when we look at some of the clauses, it is reason for concern. Clause 4, for example, indicate that they can consolidate and prioritize projects. Now, I don't think that that would be the mandate of NARRA. I believe Cabinet should rightfully prioritize projects. That the current bill, as is stated, the Cabinet took which projects, but the prioritization is in the arms of NARRA. I believe that that is misplaced prioritization, because the general conversation among all the ministers and people who have to face the people in 5 years, I believe that that should have been the authority of the Cabinet more so than for prioritization, as in Section 4A should have been for NARRA to execute. Additionally, sorry? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll come. I will come to that. Additionally, it indicated Section 4F that it should cause projects, programs, and plans to include standard specification requirement for achievement of climate standards, disaster resilience by works to eliminate and mitigate the adverse effects of catastrophic climate and geophysical events. Again, I believe that while they are the implementing agencies, the standards should not be set by the people who are the ones to implement. The standards should be set for them to go forward and implement those particular standards. Now, when we look at the bill indicates that there should be a central coordinating agency, and this central coordinating agency would be NARRA. And some examples were given of other similar types of agencies across the world. Now, when you look, for example, at those agencies, the intent of the bill was not found in many of those agencies. For example, there are documentaries made about how poor FEMA handled the realities that was out in Katrina. There are documentaries made about that. In your own presentation, you indicated that Peru gave up on their NARRA and actually implemented a second system that had a British... Yes, and right, and they gave up on their NARRA. Why, when me and the Prime Minister talk, I don't want to get him. They had a NARRA system. The Prime Minister in his presentation indicated that politics intervened, and by extension they had to wheel and come again. And then they had a second run, a bite at the cherry, and that bite at the cherry included partnership with Britain. And in that partnership with Britain, they were able to become more effective. And even though they maintained the central authority failed without the British intervention, where that partnership came between them and Britain. But we can have that debate because we don't want to finish our time. However, when it came to the bottleneck, there were some concerns within the central agency and the authority to the central agency. One of it is that they can direct and instruct and give timelines to the agencies. Now, Minister, I have some concerns about that. While it is that the large entities may qualify with the 15 million US, if it's now or 150 million US, 15 now, right? If it is that that NARRA, you know, when you are disrespected, you are upset. Yet you upset me by disrespecting me. No, yes, I will do here and later. No, What we're saying, Minister, is that you will know that there are multiple levels of investment in tourism. If it is that the 15 million can be prioritized by instruction to NARRA without additional labor or labor force within these entities, then they would have to now reverse those that would have been more than likely in line by time so that they can prioritize that in which NARRA has given them a duty for. Within this bill or within the conversations, I heard no conversation of a NARRA appointed or a person with the duty for NARRA activities within these agencies. So therefore, the agency with its similar workforce would then have to prioritize NARRA and by extension deprioritize others that would have been in close proximity to the industry. And to that extent, there becomes a problem within that space and that reality. Additionally, it says that the NARRA can carry out or secure the laying out of development areas. I thought that was above NARRA's capacity, that they can carry out or secure the laying out of development areas. I believe that the entities that NARRA shouldn't be able to do that. Additionally, it says lay out, construct, rehabilitate roads and buildings and carry out such other building and engineering operations as may appear to it to be necessary or desirable in, on, over, under land within any area. I thought that is the duty of a general planning system and not NARRA in and of itself. So when you say NARRA can lay out, construct, rehabilitate roads and buildings, as it says here, that may appear to it to be necessary. Not appear to the cabinet to be necessary, not appear to the parliament to be necessary, but that appear to it, to NARRA. I thought that would have gone too far.
Hey, are some serious concerns, Damon Crawford and the People's National Party drop on the NARRA thing, you know. It's not a normal violation, the man. This what Andrew is put in front of the people, you know. It's irresponsible to even put it in front of the house, you know. The litany of issues that directly involve potential criminality and corruption is at an all-time high, you know. I don't want to know why, like say this thing is just normal, you know, brother. Trust me, when you need to stick around, I don't even share the live with at least 20 people, make them know so we're there. Because we break it down. All the things you have to go through.
Other things like public gardens, public amenities, carry on any business are undertaken from the reconstruction and development of any area. I thought that was too wide. Then it says in F, engage in any other activity designed to promote the development of any area. Any activity in any area. That I believe, I think that NARRA is subverting cabinet's duty to the people. And to that extent, I was confused by that. I also found that the authority shall be lawful and practical, utilized by that, in cabinet's duty to the people. And to that extent, I was confused by that. I also found that the authority shall, if lawful and practicable, utilize existing capacity, resources, facilities, and systems in government, which may be appropriate, co-opted, etc., were in some cases excessive. Now, again, I wouldn't repeat the leader, but he indicated that subject to subsection 5, the chief executive officer shall be employed as such remuneration, etc., and had duties that I feel should have been rightfully designated to a board. Now, I wanted to understand what is the negative of the concept of JAMRAC being the board, because JAMRAC's concept was these people would have been included. And I remember when I was in the ministry once upon a time, our board included multiple private sector functionaries on the entertainment board. So the fact that it is a board, a governance board, does not disqualify private sector functionaries to be a part of it. What disqualifies? What's the negative of JAMRAC actually being the board? Because as has been indicated, JAMRAC's only duty is to alert the public that it proceeds. But it have no capacity to intervene, no power, no control, no consequence that it can do other than to show that we have seen things that are undeserving, and we don't see the great delay that a board can execute. It then says the authority may appoint and employ at such remuneration and on such terms and conditions as it thinks fit such other employees and agents as it thinks necessary for the proper carrying out and provision of this act. So the authority, without a board, can almost, all we can get a work out of that authority. and everybody that we know can be can be.
We need some milk.
Jamaica, anybody can get a work. You think it's joking making? If the person decides, say the CEO say, yeah man, that person, me go play it again, you know. Anybody can get a work. Friend and company, party shop business NARRA is in its present state. Party shop, corruption, it is a fertile ground, Jamaica. The nastiest level of corruption Jamaica will ever see. Mark my words. May I play it back? Hold on.
Employees and agents as it thinks necessary for the proper to may appoint and employ at undeserving, and we don't see the great delay that a board can execute. It then says the authority may appoint and employ at such remuneration and on such terms and conditions as it thinks fits such other employees and agents as it thinks necessary for the proper carrying out and provision of this act. So the authority, without a board, can almost, all we can get a work out of that authority. And everybody that we know can be can be do. Right? The unlimited, yes. It also says that they shall be paid to members of committees. So this is where I became quite worried. The minister may appoint a committee to examine the report to the minister on any matter arising out of it or connected with any of the authority's powers, duties under this act. Now, I didn't understand from that Prime Minister if this was a single board or if at any time he needed information, he could have then moved forward to make a new board. So if he was going to consider tourism, he could make a tourism board. And if he was going to consider agriculture, he could make an agriculture board. And then the next clause suggests that they can be remunerated, not volunteer, that you could pay these boards to look at those things. And we felt that that would have been a problem. There was a sworn to secrecy. I won't delve too far in it, but I also felt that it didn't facilitate the whistleblower act within the conversation of secrecy. I warned you already and you're still. Yeah, right? There was a limited facilitation of the Whistleblowers Act, but it will be dealt more fulsome by a colleague of mine. The ministry may give direct...
Jamaica, there is a clause in the thing called the sworn to secrecy clause. Hello. Everything about this bill spells criminal. Everything about the NARRA bill screams criminality. Everything. What kind of secrecy clause? No whistleblower can come and say, you know, say them rob up the money. Where the accountability there, and it get worse, Jamaica. Let's continue.
Action or authority. In this case, it says that the minister, in the interest of effective performance by the authority of its function. So it became confusing because it almost was giving the NARRA freedom to act until you reach section 13, where it took away that freedom and said, first of all, NARRA should implement nothing until it's approved by cabinet. But the minister can intervene and tell NARRA nothing about what it decided to do at any given time. In fact, it says that the minister that the authority shall act in compliance with any direction given under subsection 1. And subsection 1 says the minister may give direction to the authority. So therefore, anything that the minister tells the authority to do, the authority should then act in that way. And we believe that that is a little bit confusing, because on one standard, the authority could do as it saw fit, and on the other standard, it was actually going to give that permission. Within it, it indicates that the entity could be instructed almost by NARRA to actually carry out a duty. And if that duty wasn't carried out, Mr. Speaker, then they could send up that authority up to the minister and ask for the minister to grant that approval to the entity. So to that extent, it indicates here that the minister could then step in at any time. Now, before we move to the minister's ability to step in, we also found that the projects under NARRA seemed extremely wide. Now, for example, the hospitals that were mashed up, I didn't hear them in this, but I presume they would be in. But then how would the Victoria Jubilee, the KPH, be under NARRA? Now, if it is that we say that the procurement is a problem and we want to change procurement, then we'd have to, NARRA is now doing everything that they want to do. Now, because of the lobby efforts of the minister from West Kingston, I could say, well, maybe this is resilience, because if there was high emergency, we could need a hospital like that. But how then the parliament fit into NARRA? Under what resilience or reconstruction could the new parliament be a NARRA project? That seems to be an overextension of what NARRA should do and should be doing. And I think that is the reason why there was no sunset date for NARRA. Because while it was indicated that NARRA should last for 5 years, for some reason within this bill we could find no date for NARRA to end. So any project over time that you want to put in, you can claim that this should go under NARRA, and I believe that that is a problem moving forward.
Jamaica, this is what you call vagueness, lack of transparency. There's no, you see, this is what they do, you know. This government don't like to commit to anything, you know. They don't. This is why Andrew Holness, on one hand, burned out the extraction. He was the one that said it was pretty much criminal to extract the money from the NHT. He said it was like criminal, it was like you robbing the bank. And then when him going to power, he's been robbing the bank. And he plans to rob the bank up until the next 5 years from now, and we don't expect him to stop. This is what they do. So PMP said, we are going to temporarily extract the money from NHT. They didn't really want to do it, but they were backed up in a corner because of what the JLP did in the previous administration, and we were on an economic meltdown. That's facts. You can go to the IMF page and look at the lending case study for Jamaica, and you'll see all that information if you are somebody that's going to read and not talk loud, because what I just said is facts. So pretty much that's what they did, and that's what they keep doing. The PMP commits when the time was end when the bill was end at the end of the temporary extraction of NHT. The JLP continued to extract the money, and they've been doing it and they haven't stopped. Right? So the purposes of the temporary, they have made it no permanent. This is a government that when they give them an inch, them take a gazillion miles. So can you imagine NARRA in its present state with all its concern, what they will do? Oh my God, listen, Jamaica mashup, it would be overdone for me. We already there, the precipice, you would have just get pushed over, and then lava would have start pour. Lava basically would have not dive in. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, country mashup. Telling you, no local joke. Let's continue.
You can claim that this should go under NARRA, and I believe that that is a problem moving forward. It indicated that they could give directives. An approving entity shall cause an application for approval or other input to be dealt with in compliance with the terms of any directive issued by the authority. So what it is saying is that if it is that there's an approving entity and the authority gives it an instruction, then that had a duty to carry out the authority's instruction. And if they didn't carry out the instruction, then the authority could complain to the minister. But the authority, before complaining to the minister, would then have to get a private entity to review what the government entity was already reviewing, so as to take the private entity's opinion to the minister. No, don't be fooled by the person behind your brand. He has indicated that if an entity is in disagreement with the authority should seek to validate its disagreement by employing. All right. They can proceed with consideration of an application for approval where the approving entity may otherwise delay or decline to process the application solely on the basis that the approval or the input from another approving entity is yet to be granted or given, relying on approvals previously granted by the approving entity for standardized design or pre-approval. They can seek to modify or make exceptions for zoning requirements. make decisions on the application for the approval of other inputs. It indicates, therefore, that to address non-compliance, the authority shall not make application for a stepping, they call it, without first obtaining independent expert advice on the matter. So what did we say that was different? What did we say that was different? No, but well, are you saying it's a good thing or that what I said was different?
Member. You don't have much time left enough, so focus on your presentation, member.
Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, as was indicated, and I'm proud of you, you're answering it well. As was indicated, the authority shall not make an application for a stepping without A, first obtaining independent expert advice on the matter. Now, one can easily see the cost that will incur moving forward, right? Now, I guess money is of no moment. Then, without obtaining, and then B, unless the authority is satisfied that on consideration of the approval requirements, the advice referred to in the paragraph A exists. So we see that as a major concern. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, is that if I was the lawyer for the procurement process, I would say I have multiple evidence that procurement is not as guilty as we're seeking to make procurement. This entire bill seems to suggest that procurement is the chief hindrance on the capacity to implement. But if we look at our current situation with Spark program, for example, which have already passed procurement, which have already been granted in contract, the level of inefficiencies continue. Indeed, we have seen just in the last conversation over the budget, that Spark, which was to end in 2027, have indicated that it will not end until 2030, and that funds that were supposed to...
Yeah, but turn off the mic.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The member speaking is misleading the House. Spark, based on all documents submitted to the House, is a contract-bound program that ends in the next financial year, not 2030, and he needs to provide evidence to say that Spark is ending in 2030.
Mr. Speaker, there's an unfortunate habit that has evolved for us to wantonly disrupt each other. Now, if the minister wanted to say that he hasn't spoken as yet, he can say that after. However, the book that was published by the government called the Estimate of Expenditures indicated that they would have been spending for Spark up to the 40 billion up until 2030.
Yes. Jamaica, I don't know why these people challenge this brother, you know. He's a what do you call it now? A statistical junkie. So when it comes to the data, he's a data junkie. He is a nerd. So when it comes to the data, when it comes to numbers, the man I want teacher, the man I want maths teacher, for crying out loud. It is one of the most basic and important part of being a scientist in what you're doing. Very methodological, right? Very methodological in his approach. You get me? So detail. So when him come to write, when him come to do a speech, he's looking at the information presented on his speech. The man tell us it depends on the documentation. Did you read it? Is there some type of miscommunication within the ministries, within the government, why it's in the book and you don't know about it and something else happened? Let's rewind that. Embarrassing, Virgin.
Mr. Speaker, there's an unfortunate habit that has evolved for us to wantonly disrupt each other. Now, if the minister wanted to say that he hasn't spoken as yet, he can say that after. However, the book that was published by the government called the Estimate of Expenditures indicated that they would have been spending for Spark up to the 40 billion up until 2030. Yes, he was asked about that and he himself responded. So I do not know. Refresh himself. The minister also indicated in answering the question that he presumed it might have been a mistake, right? And that he would get back to us, for which he did not get back to us. So the fact of the matter is that the estimate of expenditure.
Embarrassing.
Yes.
We need some milk.
So no problem, no problem. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, I believe that as is, the bill introduced great risk. It introduced great risk of bottleneck being transferred to NARRA. It introduced great risk of corruption being masked by the process in which contracts are selected. It introduced great risk that small investors may be at the back of the line because of the duty of prioritization within entities that already claim that they have understaffed realities. It includes many risks because it creates expectations that may not be likely to be executed within the public. And it creates many risks because it puts within a single individual a certain level of authority. We on this side are of the opinion that anything that is necessary should be done for our reclamation, for our rebuilding, for our re-engaging of the people and our economic activity. However, we also believe, as I agree with the leader of the opposition, that we should have a conversation, a more fulsome conversation of what NARRA should look like by having a joint select committee.
Quite so.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, man. One Damian Crawford. One Damian Crawford, man. You understand? So it's important that we really look into everything that Damian is saying. And the way I present it, I believe it's easy for you to understand the real issues that is coming from this bill that is very, very serious. We're talking about somebody that is uncertified, you know, potentially being the one that is the minister that is heading NARRA, you know, that will have all the powers to say, yo, do this, do that, do this. You understand? And I don't trust him. I don't trust the Prime Minister. I don't trust the Prime Minister to pass this thing and have these, potentially have these powers. I don't know about you guys, but I don't trust Andrew HOLNESS. He's not certified, and what I've read from his Integrity Commission report, I don't think he'll ever be certified based off what is there. That's just my opinion. So let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section, man. What Damian Crawford had to say. Get this video up to 1,000 likes. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. All right, moving on now. Two person I gotta do now. Let me find them. Two person more for do. Ah, wonderful. So we have Mr. We started him next. All right, so in this one, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Bunting made it brief but powerful in terms of what potentially this bill could cause, all the harm that it could cause, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we should lend a listening ear to this to another technician when it comes on to breaking things down in the parliament. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
I had no originally intended to contribute to the debate because I was confident that the leader of the opposition would have covered the points. And I think the use of the standing orders to curtail the important contribution of the leader of the opposition was very unfortunate. Though consistent with a growing practice of suppression of voices not supporting the government.
Hey, let me tell you something. Let me play that back, because I think that went over some people's heads. One more time. Mr. Bunting is on point. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
I had no originally intended to contribute to the debate because I was confident that the leader of the opposition would have covered the points. And I think the use of the standing orders to curtail the important contribution of the leader of the opposition
Disgraceful, man.
Very unfortunate.
Disgraceful.
Though consistent with a growing practice of suppression of voices.
That's right.
Not supporting the government.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Members of Parliament were not elected to come here to serve the standing orders. The standing orders are here
to serve the members of Parliament. Fact. Sparky, where you deal with, pick up yourself, you know.
And when it is used to stifle and suppress an important contribution
on a bill that is so significant to the future of this country, it is disgraceful.
Of course. Of course.
Embarrassing. We need some milk.
Speaker, we can begin by acknowledging the scale of the crisis. Hurricane Melissa inflicted devastation of historic proportions. That demands urgency, it demands coordination, it demands leadership. But above all, it demands accountability. And that, Mr. Speaker, is precisely what this bill fails to provide. It is a blank check without guardrails. This legislation creates an authority with sweeping powers over billions of dollars in reconstruction expenditure, yet strips away the very safeguards.
We need some milk.
What this bill demands accountability.
Whoa.
And that, Mr. Speaker, is precisely what this bill fails to provide.
Mighty God.
It is a blank check without guardrails.
Damn.
This
You hear that?
legislation creates an authority with sweeping powers over billions of dollars in reconstruction expenditure, yet strips away the very safeguards that protect public funds.
Mighty God.
The authority is empowered to procure goods, works, and services directly. It can enter into any transaction it deems necessary, and it is funded by unlimited parliamentary appropriations and other inflows. Mr. Speaker, this is not reconstruction governance. This is a fiscal free-for-all. Where are the explicit procurement rules? Where are the independent oversight mechanisms? Where is the requirement for competitive tendering, public disclosure, or value for money audits?
Yes.
Instead, we are asked to trust blindly that this authority will regulate itself.
Yes.
That is not how Westminster democracy works.
Exactly.
What we are seeing here is executive capture.
Yes.
The Prime Minister controlling everything. The architecture of this authority is not independent. It is subordinate to the executive. The CEO is appointed by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister can issue binding directions and the CEO must comply. The Cabinet alone determines which projects are approved and which are strategic.
My God.
This is not a balanced institutional design.
No.
This is centralized executive control over project selection, procurement, and execution.
My God.
In any serious Westminster parliamentary democracy, such executive concentration of power would be offset by a statutorily independent board, by parliamentary committee pre-approval of major projects, by mandatory publication of decisions and contracts. None of that is here.
Hey, when me telling you say, Peter Bunting never hold back. Watson down, big up yourself. Big up everybody on your live. Peter Bunting never hold back. Me have to play that again. The man up on fire. No man, hold on.
The Prime Minister can issue binding direction. CEO is appointed by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister can issue binding directions and the CEO must comply. The Cabinet alone determines which projects are approved and which are strategic. This is not a balanced institutional design. This is centralized executive control over project selection, procurement, and execution.
What?
In any serious over project selection, procurement, and execution. In any serious Westminster parliamentary democracy, such executive concentration of power would be offset by a statutorily independent board, by parliamentary committee pre-approval of major projects, by mandatory publication of decisions and contracts. None of that is here. None of that. Instead, we have a structure where the same political
is not right. Tell about them.
Hey, me say this a live stream you hurt some labor right you are listening right now. It appears they hot till all them are typing and me chat be a foolishness. Yo, them a type in my chat foolishness about things where we already have approved. Say a lie them a tell about. That's how much labor right them earth right now. Them just a spew nonsense in Nigeria. Them not have no rebuttal. For what Peter Bunting has said. Basically, for them argument is, well, the PMP thief, so Andrew's supposed to be given the opportunity for thief too. Not to fix the problem of thieving, you know. This is what the labor right them are doing on my chat right now, enough people. How sad is this? Let's continue.
Publication, statutorily independent board by Parliamentary Committee pre-op.
Oh, and hold on now. The person who put it in the chat actually have the 56 Cumberland Road. So I go let Andrew watch me, you know. I go let Andrew watch me on TikTok, you know. Yo! Andrew, sir, you watch. Let's continue.
Approval
Yo!
of major projects, but
Yo!
such executive concentration
Jaja
would be offset.
Man, I'm watch it on the backup channel.
Statutory independent board by Parliamentary Committee pre-approval of major projects by mandatory publication of decisions and contracts. None of that is here. None of that.
Terrible.
Instead, we have a structure where the same political directorate decides, directs, and effectively executes.
Yeah,
this is the very definition of unchecked executive power. And then, when we speak about the stepping power to override the entire regulatory state. In a sense, this is perhaps the most alarming feature of this bill. Under sections 21 to 24, the authority can issue directives to regulatory bodies, force timelines, and ultimately ask the minister to override those bodies directly. The minister can then grant approvals himself, modify or remove conditions imposed by the regulators, and those decisions carry full legal effect as if made by the original authority.
Jamaica, essentially, Andrew Honest create a bill where this body can just be the law within itself and circumvent every guardrail that is there to protect us, the citizens of Jamaica. So we are left to the will of the minister and his integrity. It's like the minister would be playing God then and making all the rules, whatever suits him or her. That's what it does. And there's no clear indication of which minister would be the minister that run NARRA. And all of you that are listening to me, do you think that Andrew Honest would leave that responsibility to anybody else but himself, given how him have 135,000 different agencies in the office of the Prime Minister? Him do all of this. Him have this, what you call it now, a micromanaging type of style about him. Do you guys think that anybody else would be the head of NARRA except for Andrew Honest, based off of how this thing is structured and how it's being broken down? Somebody say, I can't believe some use Andrew and then can't believe some use Andrew Honest and integrity in the same sentence. Thank you so much, Brat. Enough said. Let's continue.
Mr. Speaker, let us call this what it is. This is the executive branch arrogating to itself the powers of every regulatory authority in Jamaica. Planning, environmental, utilities, and more.
Madness.
All in the name of expedition. But we have seen this movie before.
My God.
We have seen this movie before. A recent example in Europe.
Hi, Ashley.
I would call it the Urbanesque playbook. This model bears an uncomfortable resemblance to what we have seen in Hungary. Emergency powers were used to centralize procurement authority, Regulatory checks were bypassed in the name of speed. Public contracts were channeled through politically controlled entities. Oversight institutions were weakened or sidelined. The result was a reconstruction and development model widely criticized
on the late night live
for cronyism,
pull up if you see
opaque
this.
procurement, and
right
misallocation of
The
public
link to the video, the live stream, pull up.
We must ask ourselves, are we building for resilience or are we building a Jamaican version of that same model? I want to turn to what I might call the perfect conditions for abuse.
Perfect
The
conditions
combination
for
of
abuse.
Secrecy
Whoa.
and indemnity. The bill compounds the risk by combining these two dangerous provisions. The first is the secrecy clause. Officials are legally bound to treat documents as confidential with criminal penalties for disclosure, not administrative, criminal penalties. And then these officials are indemnified for any actions taken in their roles. So you're combining secrecy, executive control, weak oversight, massive discretionary spending. Mr. Speaker, this is not the formula for efficiency. This is a fertile ground for corruption.
Embarrassing. We need some milk.
So you're combining the first is the secrecy clause. Secrecy.
Yo, the man them have a secrecy clause. And if you break the code of secrecy, you got prison. You have a penalty to face in a court. So if there's anything illegal happening with the documents them, you cannot say anything. This is the perfect excuse for you to commit crimes in the position of NARRA. Well, I cannot do my derelict duty as a citizen of the country, as a patriot, to point out and be a whistleblower. Or I will go to prison. I will have a record on my name. Or charged in some way, shape, or form. I don't know the detail of the charge, but it has to be prison time. For you to be sworn to secrecy, that they can't talk if any corruption are going on. No, Jamaica. This is barefaced. This is a barefaced attempt for criminality with NARRA, as far as I'm concerned. Let's play that back.
And indemnity. The bill compounds the risk by combining these two dangerous provisions. The first is the secrecy clause.
My God.
Officials are legally bound to treat documents as confidential with criminal penalties for disclosure, not administrative, criminal penalties. And then these officials are indemnified for any actions taken in their roles. So you're combining secrecy, executive control, weak oversight, massive discretionary spending. Mr. Speaker, this is not the formula for efficiency. This is a fertile ground for corruption.
My God.
And they can talk about accountability to Parliament. Yes, the bill provides for annual reports, audited accounts, tabling in Parliament. But let us be honest, this is after the fact accountability. We see it in the Auditor General reports every year, but it's long after the horse has gone through the gate. By the time Parliaments see these reports, contracts will have been signed, funds will have been spent, decisions will be irreversible.
Let me give you a perfect example of that, ladies and gentlemen. Market me, Ben Spunani. The $85 million gone already, Jamaica. The $85 million gone already. What we would need is to have a surcharge, but how far is that going to go and how long is it going to take? So we need preventative problems of things like that happening, where a minister of government can say, listen, my special friend that I have, which now look like him woman, because I see them all over the internet, lovey-dovey. So Ben Spunani and him look like it official long time and he doesn't hide it. That's how I take it. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Anyway, So him special friend get all of these contracts over the years. And then the Auditor General come tell you about it. But he has gone through the gate already. Where is the real-time oversight and protection of our tax dollars? You know, we need an $85 million there right now for so many things. I know a bunch of people in the West that need that $85 million right now. Our tax dollars are we contribute to. So talk to me nice. The man is absolutely right. Let's continue.
By the time Parliament see these reports, contracts will have been signed, funds will have been spent, decisions will be irreversible.
Yep. Yep.
Accountability is not just retrospective.
Yep.
It is contemporaneous and preventive.
Preventive. Keyword preventive.
The irony is that in the memorandum it speaks of transparent management. Yet procurement is not transparently structured. Decisions are not subject to real-time disclosure. Oversight is not independent. Confidentiality is criminally enforced. Mr. Speaker, this is not transparency. This is opacity dressed up in legislative language. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, this bill sets a dangerous precedent. It is not merely about reconstruction. It is about how Jamaica governs large-scale public expenditure in times of crisis. And what it proposes is deeply troubling. Concentrated executive power, minimal oversight, weak transparency, legal tools to override institutions. We all want Jamaica rebuilt quickly, efficiently, and resiliently. But we must not rebuild Jamaica on a foundation of weakened democracy and compromised accountability. Because if we do so, Mr. Speaker, we may rebuild the roads, we may rebuild the bridges, but we will have undermined the very institutions that hold this country together. I therefore urge this House to reject this bill in its current form, or to amend it fundamentally to restore transparency, accountability, and proper Westminster-style governance. Thank you.
Hey, I want to say salute to Peter Bunting. Yes, man, most definitely, 100%. I have to say salute to Peter Bunting, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I am gonna go to Mr. Hilton. Mr. Hilton had a contribution that was important, which I will add to this contribution of Peter Bunting. His was short, so it can go together, honestly. Yeah. And he had a African quote at the beginning that I thought was dope. So let's get into it.
Madam Speaker, what in the nature of the disaster that we're faced with, in the nature of Speaker, Madam Speaker, there is an African saying that if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go long, far, or in this case sustainably, go together.
Yes.
No, Madam Speaker, what in the nature of the disaster that we're faced with,
Yes.
and the response that is required, a balance
Has
must be
to
struck.
be, yes.
The question for this House and ultimately the people of Jamaica
Yes.
is, has this balance
Being struck.
been struck within this legislation that is before us?
No, it has not.
There are clear gaps
Clear.
and concerns.
Very much so.
speakers before me have raised a number of those issues, number of those concerns. I'm going to focus my brief intervention on the same clause 18 and 19 that was just spoken about, and for which the speaker before me see an anchor and see the solution. But as someone asked, will the anchor hold? Madam Speaker, I represent a constituency that everyone knows is disaster prone because it sits at on the coastline and at the foothills that comes from northwest all the way down. And I have communities that once the clouds get dark, I start to fret.
My God.
And invariably, after the rains, there's a massive cleanup problem. I have communities like New Haven, Seaview Gardens, Riverton, and other areas that are affected from time to time. It is true that this is a response to Melissa and the destruction caused by Melissa. And that is largely in the West. The bill is drawn in a way that is more general because it recognizes that it is not just about recovery, but it's about resilience. And the resilience of which we speak is not only to be found in the West, it's broad. And therefore, I am pleased that it recognizes and there is a possibility that these areas of great sensitivity traditionally and known spots of disaster prone areas is the opportunity for a resilient response. Because the hurricane, Melissa, was in the West, but the hurricane is likely to come the next time. And I must tell you that I breathed a sigh of relief when Hurricane Melissa speared Kingston because had it come in this area, I don't know what might have happened to a lot of the community and the people in my constituency.
Wow.
So we have to consider that we have to look at how have we addressed the vulnerabilities so that when the hurricane comes next time, that we prevent the kind of disaster that we may have avoided only because Hurricane Melissa took a different course. So, Madam Speaker, as I look at the bill, and I look at clause 18 and 19, the bill has adopted a very artful way of addressing the issue of consultation and inclusion. So it uses in 19 and 18 and 19, the term, the artful phrase, that in consultation with relevant persons. And I want to put it to you, Madam Speaker, that a bill of this importance, and given the concerns that I'm addressing of these constituencies, these vulnerable constituencies, does this bill speak to consulting the people in these constituencies? Or am I assured that they will be included in any consultation that takes place under this legislation? How am I assured? And I want to suggest to you that it cannot be left just to the goodwill of the CEO of NARRA.
No.
Clear direction must be given in the legislation to say communities and effective communities, and they can even, because they are known, these zones are known zones. It's not anything that we are surprised about. Those zones are known. How will they be assured that they will be included in consultation and that whatever the designs for projects that come out, that they will be included and their vulnerabilities addressed? I am not, this gives me no confidence. I don't see it, and I'd like the Prime Minister to address that, to say how do known vulnerable communities that we struggle with year in, year out, that we spend this kind of money, we recover, we reconstruct, we rebuild, and yet resilience escape these communities. How? So, because for me, resilience is not just a technical exercise. It's both social, And yes, it is political. And the question is, how can I rest assured that the resilience of which we speak, the building back better, that we all want, will address those known vulnerable zones and communities? It's not clear to me from this bill and the design of this bill that this is addressed in a comfortable way. And I believe that it is not just about top-down building, it is about bottom-up as well. And the communities, I don't see communities referenced anywhere in this bill. I don't. And I think, Prime Minister, we have to address the issues of equity, inclusion, and communities. Even in the planning that I've heard about, I don't see any. No, you don't understand much.
I am interested to know who that tried to interrupt Mr. Anthony Hilton. And he's letting them know, you don't understand much. Damn. Embarrassing, bro. Sheesh.
So, what can go so embarrassing? We need some milk.
Damn.
And communities, even in the planning that I've heard about, I don't see any. No, you don't understand much.
Embarrassing. We need some milk.
I don't, Prime Minister. I don't, Prime Minister. See, where the communities are, and even in the planning exercise, which is critical to the project development. These are in a different process. Well, I need to at least be assured what that is, because it doesn't speak to it in this legislation. All right. So, Prime Minister, there are gaps, and we can move quickly. But I suggest to you that there are risks involved, reputational risk, in not doing anything and in overdoing some things. And the risk of corruption is real, and we need to address that. You can kiss your teeth all you want, but it's real. And I think we need to make sure that the safeguards are addressed in this bill. Thank you.
How embarrassing. I wonder which Jezebel or reprobate tried to disturb Mr. Anthony Hilton kissing them teeth. These are valid issues being ventilated where NARRA is concerned, and we have these individuals in Parliament. Hey, who you vote for is very important. Who you guys cast your vote for, their character, the context of their character, you should all examine. I'm telling you, that's why you should watch the Parliament. How is your MP representing you? Do you feel comfortable with the way how they are conducting themselves? Or what is your standard for yourself? What's your standard? What standard are you under for yourself? Is it a high standard or you're in the gutter with it? Because maybe that's the problem, you know. Because you can't even big up yourself. You cannot tell me, say, a lot of these people that are in the Parliament make sense, bro. You can't tell me that, bro. They don't even know how to act with any respect and dignity. They don't even know how to pretend to be civil. They don't know what civil is. They come from back of the, they're not even there back of the class. You know what them there? Outside of the school. While school is going on for them learn something. Sad. But let me know what you guys think about what Peter Bunting and Mr. Anthony Hilton had to say. Get this video to 1,000 likes. Big up on a nice video, sir. Alright. Let's see what's more of it. Touch pan. No. Touch man over 4th already. I now go over Marky G. Marky G thing extensive. Oh, I now go touch that neither. No, I now go touch that. No, I'm not touch that yet. Tomorrow, Philip Parley have a presentation, so we definitely have to check that out. Really awesome. I am going to go to Colin Bell. Yes. I'm going to go to Colin Bell. The Colin Bell Show. Colin Bell Show. Alright. Yes, sir. Make sure so you guys go and subscribe to the Colin Bell Show, Portland Spice TV. Alright. God is the greatest. Yes. God is the greatest. Yeah. Let me see. I need to find it when. Is this the right one? Oh yeah, it is. This is the right one. All right, that's it. All right, that's it. X off that. Come to the class. Let me see what I'm going to say.
Bill in its current form, or to amend it fundamentally to restore trust.
The impact of bureaucracy.
We will have a drop. And the people stop a picture of that in Jamaica. Because some Caribbean radio 97.9 HD4 and the people abroad need to hear what is happening in Jamaica. Because some people trying to paint a.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's your brother BOLO V&R, and in this one I'm going to examine a small snippet of what Ralston Hyman and Colin Bell was discussing in regards to what went down in Parliament, among other things. Alright, and you know, the reason why I'm touching on this is because Ralston Hyman made a very critically important point that needs to be addressed and shine a two big floodlight. You know them floodlight they when you use on football field in some country area with pitch dark. Yeah man, and when them light they turn on, they come like a daylight. Yeah, so we're gonna use one of them big light there and shine power. Ralston Hyman said because it was that important. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez and peace. Yeah, sorry about that. In this one, we're going to Portland Spice TV. We're going to highlight something that Ralston Hyman said and shine on big floodlight pan. Alright, like what they use at the football field, make it look like a daylight on a pitch dark night. Yeah man, because it's that important. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Me just
tear up the whole of the NARRA and fling it well.
Okay.
Clause by clause, the man go through it and tear it up because the Prime Minister is the man who is in control of NARRA. And him a run NARRA.
Yep.
And him call the shots on NARRA.
Yo, Ryan, what's up, bro?
That can't work, bro. Cannot work.
But you know, one thing we find amazing with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister about the impact of bureaucracy on the economy and economic growth.
Yes.
But one of the biggest bureaucracy of Jamaica House.
Yes.
The biggest bottleneck. Yeah.
The Prime Minister have a super ministry.
Yeah. Nothing can go through.
Yes.
So I'm talk about the negative impact of bureaucracy. Him sit on the biggest bureaucracy in the whole back country.
Yes.
Jamaica, only hear that? Where is the lie? I'm going to play it again. I want that one to sink in. Labor rights no come to the front of the class.
Impact of bureaucracy on the economy and economic.
The Prime Minister. That can't work, bro.
Listen to this.
Cannot work.
But you know, one thing we find amazing with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister about the impact of bureaucracy on the economy and economic growth.
Yes.
But one of the biggest bureaucracy of Jamaica House.
Yes.
The biggest bottleneck. Yeah.
The Prime Minister have a super ministry.
Yeah. Nothing can go through.
Yes.
So I'm talk about the negative impact of bureaucracy. Him sit on the biggest bureaucracy in the whole back country.
Yes.
Yeah. And what they call me was a joking that man.
Yeah, man. And there's no accountability because in the bill it states that him can give direction to NARRA. But he have to give him writing or not. There's nothing to say when he give that direction and what direction he gives.
Precisely.
There's no reporting mechanism.
Right. And when you talk about genre like epoch, Peter Phillips never have nothing to do with epoch apart from setting it up, you know. He don't come on an epoch meeting unless we invite him and he don't make a decision about epoch.
Right. And the
we're tired of the labor right. We're tired of the green people. We have so far. We We can't take it no more. We need this. We need this. We need it. And Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Psalm 43.
Him no come on an epoch meeting unless Catholics never have nothing to do with epoch apart from setting it up, you know. Him no come on an epoch meeting unless we invite him and him no make a decision about epoch.
Right. And the jam rock is in place before NARRA. What can go so? I know the CEO of NARRA and the name yet. Who is the CEO?
Yeah.
And the CEO have sweeping powers. Him alone can sign up on a contract.
That can't. What will come again? What will come again?
Yeah, man, listeners and viewers, this is Ralston Hyman, Jamaica's top financial analyst and #1 economist right here in Jamaica and the Caribbean. Ralston, tell us what is happening to the Jamaican economy today.
Well, you have a big thing where I tell us the budget I forgot recast again too. We had a conversation with the Minister of Labour and Social Security today. We had a feedback, Colin. Yeah.
Hold on. Go ahead now.
The Minister says that the original 10 billion that was projected for the roofs program, that's the program to help people rebuild them house and fix what their house.
Yes.
Was based on the assessment of 64,000 persons. Alright? So here them set up. Then end up assess 113,000 persons.
Yes.
And when set up of that 113,000 persons, 43,000 has been verified and paid. That came out at $9.5 billion.
Oh?
So that's 43, so you still have 70,000 persons left to get verification.
So you need that next 20 billion.
Well, you put it at 8 to 10 billion, but we know that about the more.
But hold on. If you pay 9 mash to 40,000 and you have 70,000, we don't come out to 8.
Well, that's it. So again, there should be additional some Minister of Finance. So those are the things that we're telling you about. Yeah. All the 43,000, but
Jamaica, only didn't know that. Did you guys know that 60 something thousand was the original number they was looking at? It ended up to be 117,000. 43,000 persons got money, and it was $9 point something billion. So if you have 70 more persons, how is it going to be 10? Or is it going to be only 10? You that there's something somewhere between 15 billion and maybe $18 billion. You understand what I deal with? Because you have to factor in what type of damage assessment is there for those persons. Most of them will get $500,000. You have to factor that in, you know. And if you really check your levels, there's persons now that has not been assessed yet. And we know that just now South St. James alone will play that phone. So think about that for a second. Just think about that for a second. Let's continue.
9.5 billion paid out. So it's like 70,000 and money done.
Embarrassing. We need some milk.
We were saying, Raleigh, that the government should have blocked
additional sums from the Minister of Finance. So those are the things that we're telling you about. Yeah. All the 43,000 verified, 9.5 billion paid out. So it's like 70,000 and money done.
But
so
you,
say, go ahead.
You remember how long we were saying, Raleigh, that the government should employ 2,000 to 3,000 people, put them out there in the field to do the assessment and get the assessment done? What you are saying to us now, that means the assessment has still not been complete.
Well, and we're saying the assessment is twice the amount that they originally projected for. They've got 113,000. And he said the original forecast was 64,000.
No, go stop. He told us back then that it was 130,000 people. Then he come back and tell us he had 90,000. We never heard 60,000.
64, yeah.
We never heard that figure. Him. And we can go find the clips. But early in the piece, he said 130,000 people and if he assess. Then it come back and say it's 90,000. And we say, how it come down to 90,000? So, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they've got 130,000. So 70,000 persons still left for verification. and the money down. So they need more money from the Ministry of Finance. So it's 8 to 10, we said 10 to 20. So again, it tells you about the inadequacy of the budget.
But a long time from the budget read rally, you said the budget no good.
That?
Before the budget read, the fiscal commissioner said the budget no good.
Yeah.
So all who say we are criticize the government, you know. Hear the things them where we are talking, see them are come to fruition, you know.
Yeah, man.
Everything are come now, saying that we were right.
43,000 or so get assessed 9.5 billion and more money is there.
And you have 78,000 left and you say it will cost 8.8 billion.
You know, me have to ask the question. How do the labor them come out and make these gaslighting statements that, you know, when persons look at how they dealt with Hurricane Melissa and how they approached the recovery and all of that, them get an A- and it will be the case study for other countries. Case study on suffering the people. Case study on how to be a failure. How to fail the people of a country after a Category 5 hurricane storm will be the legacy of the Andrew Holness-led administration. The last legacy. Yes, man. One of the many bad things about this administration would be how they handle this. How is it possible you are not a failure when one, you gave us conflated numbers, incorrect numbers of 130,000, estimates was off. Then you went down. You went down and what you allocated was for what? $10 billion. Obviously that wasn't for the 117,000. It was for like 64,000. The $10 billion was for. And the $10 billion was still not sufficient for the 64,000, end up with 43,000. So you failed 2 times. And then the third failure was having 117,000. And still there's people that has not been assessed. And there's no allocation in the budget. Nothing in the budget for anybody right now in terms of the roof program and those other things. There's nothing in the budget. Let me tell you from now, that was not mentioned in the budget at all. Okay? Let us be clear. These are the things that we are talking about. The level of incompetence from this government. My goodness. Not so.
It looks more like 20 billion more.
20 billion more it need.
Yeah.
And that cannot deal with no resilience.
Yeah, also
that was just meant, that is that now just meant to put back roof over little roof.
Yes, the hurricanes don't come blow back if one come.
Yeah, man.
Me go take a call, Rally. Bolo.
Yes, sir, Bell and Rally, big up yourself. We don't want to brush past Andrew Holness being the CEO of NARRA in general. Because we are coming like the Jamaican people have to get to that better and certified.
Yeah, him will name the CEO and him will direct everything. And him, when you hear to talk about the minister, and him and the minister where Mark Olin talk about.
So imagine in an office in Avon and bridging a business partner around 2 government agencies. We have to deal with real estate. Yeah, we have to deal with real estate. I imagine now, him now I will be the CEO of NARRA. I trouble this number.
Hold on, who will be the CEO of NARRA?
No, me I say, imagine him will direct NARRA. I say, all right, him will appoint the CEO.
Yes, him will appoint the CEO and him will direct the CEO because he can give direction to the CEO. To
no problem that, brother.
Yes.
That's a bottleneck and corruption boil up in a one.
Yeah, man, this look like a...
We can't trust the man, brother. We don't know how he making money. We don't know if he making legally. And then he will be the head of this, so important to Jamaica.
And then, hold on, hear this one. There is an indemnity to the CEO of NARRA in a rally. If something come up, and even if the CEO is found guilty, he can be indemnified, walk away free, and the bill, the legal bill, have to be paid by the taxpayers.
No. Jamaica, you could imagine my astonishment, the shock when a good thing to call him. So, what I said initially was incorrect. Not the CEO, the minister. Can you imagine Andrew is the minister, this unknown minister that we don't know about? And can you imagine him appointing the CEO? The fact that he put his best friend and business partner in 2 agencies in his office of the Prime Minister, it shows a pattern that something that is potentially what he would do again. Somebody that him will work with him, and furthermore, him going to direct them anyway. So after this, somebody will work with him, right? And then the privacy clause now would protect that person from having an excuse to not tell us what is going on with the documents and stuff like that if there's anything illegal going on. It's the perfect thing for criminality, Jamaica. And then this part now, right, where we would have to pay the legal fees for the... No, let me play it again. It's serious. No, hold on.
There is an indemnity to the CEO of NARRA in Iran. If something come up, and even if the CEO is found guilty, it can be indemnified.
All right, so in general, just use one big word a while ago, indemnity. So for myself, for my edification, and for everybody else that is watching and will be watching the replay, indemnify. Indemnity. What does indemnity mean? Let me share my screen and show you what indemnity means. Alright? You see some bright people there, but all of we not bright. Alright. All of we not that bright, I should say. Indemnity is a legal or contractual obligation where one party, indemnitor, agrees to compensate another party for specific losses, damages, and liabilities. It serves as security or protection against financial harm, often known as a hold harmless agreement, and is frequently found in insurance policy and business contract to restore a party to their pre-loss financial state. Purpose: provide security against hurt, loss, or damage. So in this case, ladies and gentlemen, legal meaning exemption from penalties and liabilities. That is very clear. There it is. Legal meaning is exemption from penalties and liabilities. So the CEO that will be appointed by the minister, in this case, we would believe that it would be the Prime Minister that would be the one appointing the CEO. The CEO, if caught in anything illegal, ladies and gentlemen, would not face any legal penalties or wouldn't be legally liable. That's what that means. Let's continue. Mighty God. On the ball out, Jamaica. Ball out. It's serious.
Walk away free. And the bill, the legal bill have to be paid by the taxpayers.
No, No. Jamaica have to rise up.
Yo,
we can't allow this to happen.
The man has set up a perfect scam in front of our face.
Mighty God.
Then that's why Juliet try to stop Mark Holding, man. Juliet in front.
Rise up.
Yo,
we can't allow this to happen.
The man has set up a perfect scam in front of our face.
Mighty God.
Then that's why Juliet try to stop Mark Holding, man. Juliet, stop the man in the
Yes. Yes. Definitely. But the class, we don't want to bring that up because we don't want them people really pay attention to that whole scenario there. And potentially it can be catastrophic for us as a country. Because look for CRH, Cornwall Regional Hospital, the greatest overrun of all time.
Yeah, man, the
mother. You can imagine what can potentially happen with NARRA, brother.
The mother and father of all overrun is Cornwall Regional. NARRA is going to be the mother and father of all robbery in a Jamaica, if allowed to go through the way it's constructed.
No, that cannot. Yes, I agree.
All right, boy. What you say, Raleigh?
That cannot go.
If you are considering moving to
Jamaica, this is where we're at, you know. We're not going to sit by and just watch. We're not going to get involved. We're not going to raise no voice in concert. All right, so imagine Mr. Richard Hassan's situation. Andrew wanna say this could be something that could tear down the entire government. Then what is NARRA in its present state? This could tear down the reputation, if passed, of the entire country. No, look a joke. So we have to stand up, people. We have to stand up. We have to stand up here. We do the right thing.
because all it needs is a majority. What you say, Rally?
That can't be.
But we're going to stop it, Rally, because all it needs is a majority vote in both houses of Parliament.
Oh, okay.
It don't need no 2/3.
Trouble.
Oh, okay.
You don't need 2/3.
That's a very serious problem. So what do people of Jamaica have to say about that?
Bona spliff, drink some rum and girls then broke out, brother.
Okay.
Let's take another call. Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. We're live on Caribbean Radio.
So, on definitely have to go check out Colin Bell Show, ladies and gentlemen. That what he just revealed to us, I had no idea that the thing was that deep. That the CEO had indemnity, meaning no legal liability or penalty can be put on the CEO in regards to the operations of NARRA. That is zero accountability, you know. Zero accountability, ladies and gentlemen. Zero accountability. Nil, nada, nothing. You understand? This is why we have to be careful of some of them politicians. I tell you. What is?
Because the system that they have produces
Something wrong. Something is wrong. I don't know what is wrong, but this thing has stopped play. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section. Jamaica, I mean, one want to do, one plan for do. One just going to sit by and not use the power of unity that you guys have to raise your voice in concert against this thing. We are getting what do you call it now? We are getting torn apart in the context of our light bills. And then, you know, I'm gonna get to that right now. Let me know what you guys think. Just 1,000 likes on this video is the end. Big up on yourself. Alright, blessings. Let me get to that right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get to that right now. I wonder, I don't want to forget when when did I actually do that live stream? Which one of it was it? Was it this one? Was it this one? Yeah, I think it was this one. I think it was this one.
That deals with fighting corruption.
Oh, yes, yeah, I'm going to people in the food.
He look like he knows Andrew Timer. Thanks, bro.
12 containers. If somebody did forget $5,000, when you tell me to get
Students are challenging the police.
No,
right? The bad police them is so much that they are making the entire force look bad.
Another one. That is not the one. Oh, this one. Yeah, this one.
assessment. Other groups to participate in NARRA. It's the leader, and I will call on my friend.
Explaining that, and you're justifying it at the same time, right? That the persons who were approached told that, listen, you got seriously, because
according to the minister, the person
lie on you, only need to sue her. This is a damning allegation against the Ministry of our security and labor and one bag of something. Only need to sue in the person. Like we have take the picture with the $500,000 check. Sell it.
people. Mr. Contact the MPs, ask them to bring some recipients to come for the handover check thing. People with their name come up with the system, right? When the person come, Mr. Contact the MPs, ask them to bring some recipients to come for the handover check thing. People with their name come up with the system, right? When the person come, they gave the person a check to come care of them with $500,000 on it. According to the minister, the person at the ministry told the person that even though I do a $500,000 check for what happened, I told you all get when the money come.
Only hear that? the person at the ministry telling the person, we have take the picture with the $500,000 check, say, listen, although we are making take a picture with this check, you're not going to get this amount of money. That's scamming. And she's saying that to somebody in the ministry. Colonel Charles should come to the front of the class.
Yup.
Only need to sue Munchi B if she's telling a lie on Uno. Not my word. If she is telling a lie on you, only need to sue her. This is a damning allegation against the ministry of our security and labor and one because only need to sue Munchi B for this argument. Where did she get this information from? This is coming out from a labor right blogger. All our content, as far as I hear, because I don't listen to her. One time I was unfortunate enough to how you doing, Juicy Lips? One time I was unfortunate enough to be on a platform. I think it was Noel, and she was on there. I didn't know her. First time I went on Noel platform, and the first time I didn't know who she is, and somebody contacted me and said, boy, I see you on TikTok with Munchi B. I said, who is Munchi B? I don't know who that is. And them explained it to me. And now, from the last few months now, I have been hearing content coming out of Dre Brand because I'm an avid listener of Dre Brand. You understand? And now I'm hearing some nasty things from this young lady. Right? And even they attack them for Andre Stevens when play. When people screen her card and put out there. And I'm saying, whoa. And listen to this. Listen to this.
Into the handover check thing. Munchi, tell the people them. This morning, listen to her, how you take life on people. Please contact the MPs, ask them to...
Hold on, somebody have called me. General, my life, you hear me? Okay. Go ahead.
This is blatant criminality.
Hold on, let me call you back on my phone, because the box has not going to answer. Let me call you back on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Head boy, ladies and gentlemen. Head boy in the bit. And perfect, my boss. Yes, man.
I've been absent for a while, but then I'm big support there. Still listen and still follow.
Respect, my brother.
Not because I'm not there.
No, say you're busy man enough, so.
In this life and the life after, I don't want to live.
My goodness.
I don't want to be with but I'll say,
yes.
What you have cleaned a while ago, you damn me.
Yes.
Absolutely damn me. And I will call on my friend. I can say to friend,
yes.
I tell you what, my friend, as my big brother and somebody who have very good relationship, you need to look into this.
Of course.
Sometimes it doesn't necessarily come from the minister, you know.
Yeah, that's why we hold the position of my wall. You understand? Because she's saying it coming from the ministry. They have to address this, brother.
Yeah, but you know who do it? A lot of the time. So let's say you have the social program. Remember, social programs are run by specific directors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to party, you have a director of part. If you go to the new program that they have now, the rules, you have a director for that. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Personnel who work in these ministries who are demanding their money there.
Mighty God.
And sometimes not necessarily to the knowledge of the minister. No, I'm not saying the minister don't know about it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, man.
But understand what is that? The two, and I want people to know this. And I can't even play this because I know nobody else talking about it. The government is BROKES.
Yes, I've heard Rastaheim say that.
So the repair program has exceeded its ceiling.
Yes.
So because it exceeds the ceiling, a lot of these things that they have distributed, and by the way, there's a lot of criminality happening. Because if you budget $10 million, you know what you budgeted for.
Yes.
So why would that be groceries at just 500, I want in 200?
Yes.
Somebody's collecting it on the back end.
That has to be. Right? And the gentleman in Nikisha Birchall constituency went to the NIS and said, they said they can't do anything for him. If she never brought it public, I mean, if the man is a soft person, what would have happened?
But the thing is worse than this, because why then are you issuing checks to people knowing no money in a day?
I mean, why? The PR.
No, but NARRA, where are we supposed to worry? Are you everybody talking about oil and this and gas and that's the way it's supposed to work. NARRA cannot function. Why Andrew have to set up NARRA now? NARRA was set up to spend the money that they got from the World Bank and the other countries in the 2.something billion or 2 close to trillion.
Yes, yes.
That they get to spend. No, my NARRA was set up. Well, it was set up because the international agencies say that they don't want the government to have access to the funding.
Really?
I don't even realize what happened again.
What you saying to me, head boy? Hold on there. Hold on there. You serious?
Yeah, NARRA was set up with a mechanism to allow the government to access the funding, but to allow oversight to be accessed.
No.
I see I do something last week, and I cannot believe, and I am not cussing the PNP, because sometimes when you talk these things, PNP people get too emotional.
Yes.
But it's facts. Mark Gordon was in the parliament, and he was taking on anti-truth and he said, why isn't the opposition a part of the composition of the NARRA board?
Yes, yes.
In the legislation, Andrew Reid last week, we bore us to board them.
Yes.
He said something that I think did not half a Jamaica to hear. He said that there is a mechanism for the other groups to participate in NARRA if the need arises.
If the need arises.
I remember I said at the point in my point, I said, see, please in here, you see they don't advise the board so the opposition can be on it. Can. The law that they have structured does not
Oh!
The PNP should come out and with nothing bad in saying that we are not in support of NARRA.
Yes.
Until you can give us oversight of NARRA.
Yes.
You're trying to go further. They wanted NARRA to be out of the purview of the Auditor General.
What?
That's why they said, remember, Mark, well, PNP can explain the difference between that every agency, whether it's executive, and he kept on asking me, is this going to be an executive agency or it is going to be a regular? No, it's going to be an executive. We said they still have to be audited by the Auditor General.
Yes.
By the Auditor General. That's an executive agency. Customs is audited by the Auditor General. UE is an executive agency. WHI is by itself. It's audited.
So basically, executive agencies has to be audited by the Auditor General. So that's why Andrew Holness is trying to present NARRA as not an executive agency.
Right, and as some creative idea of him and this government.
Oh my God.
No, understand. If you want to do, let's say you want to do rebuild, you have a program where looking at building sustainable housing for the people in South St. James.
Yes.
How the structure is now, you can apply under NARRA, and NARRA board decides if that project gets approved. Who will on the NARRA board? The minister, the prime minister.
My God.
So if you are leading PNP with your company that's doing good work, forget about it.
Forget friend and company, party shop business.
Wow. And I'm sitting and I'm really upset because I'm saying, why aren't we realizing that this is going to be the greatest amount of monies that have ever come into Jamaica's coffers at one time.
Yes.
And we're sitting silently. I heard Andrew Holness when he came in the garden for the CARICOM conference. Yeah? And if I had not known Andrew, I would have believed every single thing Andrew said. I mean, I know Andrew Holness know me. I met Andrew privately and I met him. He knows me. And if I had not known Andrew and Camila Johnson Smith, I would have believed every single word they said that night. Unless one social thing where people are flocking on one place when we went into the Eastern Caribbean. Yeah?
Yes.
I visited the CARICOM conference. I went to the same function he was at. And when I look and I saw how Andrew, and he's begging the people to come home.
My God.
And he tell them how to make a transformer when they're sleeping. Let's put them on the back house in the Jamaica about 4 or 5 months ago.
Wow.
So he's painting this picture as if this level of transformation and how he has equipped and how he himself now one time in Jamaica it is we change the philosophy and it's not about tech now, it's about what Jamaica can attract. I mean all sorts of business. Yeah? Andrew Holness is a snake oil salesman. Yeah? Snake oil salesman. And he has done it with no form of interruption. Because we have allowed him to keep on selling lies without poking the lies, especially the media. Especially the media. Because even this thing, and I remember you were trying to reach the last that the oil and gas have a go. Right? Because I don't want to change the thing, but I know you wanted a look in on the oil and gas.
Yeah, definitely.
But let me tell you what's happening at Petrojam. Let me first help the country to understand the dire situation that Jamaica is in. When 2016 the JLP took office, Petrojam had no financial issues. Petrojam, in fact, was one of the richest entities in Jamaica, next to the NH.
Whoa.
Yeah?
Whoa.
And I say so with no water in my mouth.
Yes.
Because they had what was called the PCG, the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, and Petrojam was a subsidiary. The first thing we will do is to disband the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica. Yeah?
Yes.
To oversight body for Petrojam. Yeah? Then they went further and they started the thieving and the raiding at Petrojam. They took out the Venezuelans out of Petrojam as an instruction from the 2017-2018 sanctions of the United States. Then they went further. They don't stop them. They expropriate the shares of Petrojam. Meaning all the money of Venezuela, all the shares of Venezuela buy, they take it and put it in an escrow. And they have not handed over the money to Petrojam to the Venezuela.
So that is, hold on, that is something that is in the courts right now, that's all. My God.
They have the money and there's nothing stopping them from using the money while the matter is in court. Because it's not like the court order them to put the money in an escrow, we can sit down there and see the court decide.
Right.
The one that they returned to Venezuela was the initial investment that they placed into Petrojam for expansion. So remember there was an expansion program with the scandal about them having the wall and the wall price was so high. Yeah?
Okay. Well, what you're saying is that the money that them have, they can use it and build wealth while the court case is going on.
Yeah, and they in fact can use it to the private business.
Wow.
And I think people have been saying,
Heineke.
because it is in dispute, it does not have to be, it is in escrow. When it is in escrow, more than likely it is sitting with NCD or Scotiabank. Yeah? Those are the two largest escrow providers in Jamaica. Now, for a simple terminal, people don't understand escrow. Escrow is like I buy a property, you don't know the buyer, so you don't know the seller, so the attorney says to the seller's attorney, two of us don't know each other. Let us go to an institution that we trust to keep the money.
Keep the money, right.
Eh?
Right.
So that's what escrow is.
Right.
Now, when you look at it, you ask yourself the question. So Petrojam is now at a stage where
1TM family, big up.
That Petrojam has to now consider one increasing the PC and which is the ad valorem tax, the liquid and gas. Plus Petrojam is now not in the position to pay fully for some of its supplies.
Right.
No, why did this happen? Because we have a Minister of Energy who is conflicted, and I've been saying this over and over, and if drivers they want to come for me, you know where to find me when I'm in Jamaica, you know where to find me.
My God.
Yeah? The point is simple. That Petrojam started losing $3 to $4 billion over the last 2 years.
What? 3 to 4 billion?
In the foreign, 3 billion, billion. When it's a billion, I can't call it small and a big number, that you know.
That means you're banging on tomorrow in a sectorial debate.
Yeah, I'm going to mash them up.
Oh my God. Jamaica State too, we have to watch that.
I hope to destroy them tomorrow. Because what they have done is that they have discounted scheme. And when I went on college girls program and exposed it, they have one called labor rights pamphlet here in Richmond named Nephew. Nephew come to say I am spreading false news, and college played the big one. Public press briefing saying that that $3 to $4 billion is the loss annually at Petrojam. Why is that so? It is so because Petrojam has been given a discounted scheme to 2 gas and oil companies.
What?
2
Two of them?
Two players. And I'm not, and I want to hear me because I'm talking in a phone. Yeah? I am cooling at the Oasis. And I want you to listen to me. Not because I'm a yard man, doesn't it mean that I shouldn't talk as an English speaking person.
Mike? Ball out! Whoa! We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out from Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody, man or woman.
God. The last one is more complicated.
I know, the last one. But you get it.
Yes.
Put your names together and you get it.
Yes.
So the entities I refer to are the two entities that have, so people don't understand how Ireland works. So government, you have two things. You have the spot price, yeah? So the spot is when you're buying, doing a one-off transaction.
Right.
Typically, gas and oil goes into a one-year contract, yeah? So the gas is what we call a future trade. It's derivative. It's not determined by you and I, it's determined by the volatility in the market.
Right.
What about in the Middle East? Supplies can come out and automatically the prices go up. It doesn't mean that gas has gone up, and it just means because of the volatility.
Right.
Because your production cost don't increase, the same cost that's associated with it.
Right.
Now, what did Darrell Barks, the smart ass, and I call him the paper tiger, what did he do? The paper tiger, in the midst of a crisis, has been given, and I say it with no water in my mouth, the paper tiger has allowed Petrojam to be given discounted gas to these two entities. Now, let me help people. A tanker typically hold, so there's a big tanker that's on the road.
Yeah.
They typically hold about 1,000 to 30,000 gallons.
Tony, what's up?
Wow. Now, 28,000 to 30,000 gallons of gas, about, you bring it back into metric tons, it's maybe 2-3 metric tons of gas. That's a lot. But it adds up. Because if you give, let's say the gas is supposed to be sold to company A for $90.50, and you keep on giving company A discount of $1.50 every time.
Right.
Do you know that is per liter?
That's a massive discount.
Okay. Exactly, and that has been happening at Petrojam. And I hope tomorrow for this life of me, Philip comes and exposes it.
Somebody's asking where in Western St. Mary you're running as councillor.
Western? They have been asking me to run Western, but I have no interest in Western.
Outside you run.
I have interest in another part of
Hi, Michelle.
But I don't want to stay because I have...
Okay, no problem. No problem.
And I don't want to...
Yes, that's principle. Yeah, that's principle. Yeah, I understand.
I have interest in running in St. Mary, and I will be running in the next local government election with that.
Yes. Totally understand.
So this is the difference. You know, don't let, when you purchase gas, there is a thing. There's a 30 days and there's a 90 days. We call it lines of credit. Yeah? So typically, when you see a company like, let's say I have a little gas station for Arbitrary Road, and then get them gas, they don't pay when they get the gas. They are given a line of credit.
Wow.
They pay right away.
Yeah.
And that line of credit, they are supposed to pay within, there's arrangements between 7 to 30 days or 30 to 90 days. In the instance of the two companies, the one we're fooling and the one we're yarding it, they have in fact been given long discounts plus a lengthy period to repay.
No, man. So hold on. What is the relationship between those two companies and who's running Petrojam? Why are they getting these?
I tell you what is the relationship. If you are my financier for my campaign, If I fly on your plane, if I won the election for you in Northwest Center against Gabriela Morris by spending a lot of my money because Crystal Lee is my goddaughter.
What? Breaking news. Hey boy, what you saying to me? You know, I really was looking at that constituency and I said to myself, how did Gabriela Morris lose that seat? I couldn't understand it.
I asked these people from the guys who are cooling to ask me to come. I know them. I'm here afraid them. Yeah? I know them, meaning I know them and they know me. I am asking these people how much money will you give to Crystal Lee by election day against Gabriela Morris. Because it is said that the gentleman who runs that entity is Crystal Lee's godfather. Her father used to work for him.
What?
And his father before him. Yeah?
My goodness.
So they spent a lot of money. Then how you think Montague? And Bobby, you know me, afraid you know me, I know you. Yeah? How you think Montague? It is the same money they spent against Mr. Woodbine in St. Mary.
Wow. Even that they see there, I was like, man.
Western St. Mary, they were pulling up at the station. Just they go there, they give the name, and they get the sign for the gas and they go. Yeah? If we want to find out if how much gas really leave us, we need to look for that period in the election last year, and we realize, oh, some people never pay for them gas during that time, and I can't nobody name. Yeah?
So you said the vehicle full up at the vehicle we are moving around full up?
Yes, because these are the people, and they control the coast from Portland to St. Anne's.
My God.
No, the gambling part, you know. I mean, Darrell Bad flies on the plane that belongs to this gas company.
Lord Jesus.
No, how could a minister of government be flying on a company earmarked plane, and you are the minister of energy, and you're flying on a distributor's plane? And a distributor is giving you campaign financing, nobody has to ask. They bank roll Anne-Marie in Eastern Portland against Anne-Marie, and they want about the money now.
My God. My God.
Darrell can't pump no money in the Ministry of Energy because them say, oh, let it stand right there. Make them pump out more money. Gas has not gone up in the cost. People need to understand. Jamaica's gas don't come from the Middle East. You know?
That is what I wanted to explain because I was listening to you the other day and I was trying to remember exactly what you said. Tell us about that, please. That's important.
So the word traffic guru, when some people hear them get excited and some people get sad. Yeah? Let me simply say, traffic guru is an oil lifting company. So they don't dig it down, they're just a marketing agency for oil. Yeah? So they don't dig it down, they don't weld it down, they just go the gas there and then sell it to you.
Right.
Right? And people are forgetting, in the same period, 3 years ago, there was a secret scandal in the Ministry of Energy where we had bought gas for more than it was being sold on the international market.
My God.
So that put us in the debt. 1. 2, it further created a problem because we suspended our ability to access Petrocaribe, which used to give us from Venezuela the gas. We used to pay just for the principal. We never serviced the interest.
Right.
So we could take the gas and we could just pay down a portion of it and they would still send us gas. What is happening now is that traffic guru, which sources gas from us from Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay.
And in Nigeria?
No, Nigeria have no problem.
Is there any conflict happening in Colombia?
No, there's no problem in Colombia.
Is there any conflict happening in the dam rep?
No, not that I know of.
Well, those are the 3 markets our gas come from.
So that means our oil prices are supposed to skyrocket then? Mighty God. Jamaica, when I hear at this really want come in nose in the ear when I say that, you know, I'm gonna try to explain to somebody in the chat and I say, I heard Edward say something about where our gas come from. And this argument that the Alvars come out with, and it's like a doom and gloom and the worst thing. It's funny. It contradicting to me here, Edward, I say. Jamaica,
Me not even need to say much, you know. Me just need you to listen to that conversation. Yeah. Because I'm going to post it, you know. And you can say, alright, we will share this on the labor right family then. And tell them to go do their research. Zane, especially when it comes to the oil and the views and opinions and where head boy I said that a head boy. I just listen to him and say, Zane, so if they want to come for head boy, they can go for head boy. But listen to him and say, and do the research, Jamaica. This is diabolical. Let's continue.
I'm glad you call me. I know sir, that's why I'm gonna call you the other day to explain that to the people.
In fact, when he called me, I was in a meeting.
Yeah, man, they tell me, man. They tell me.
Right, and it's relating to some similar things around renewable energy.
Right.
So when I speak, I want people to understand that I'm not speaking just from just becoming a research.
Yes.
I know people who are in the oil and gas industry. I know big players. Now, look at what Andrew needs to do now. He needs to lock his face in Montana Johnson. Yeah?
Use the bathroom.
We open our embassy in Caracas that them shut us down. Because by the way, Venezuela is bound to Jamaica and Jamaica is bound to Venezuela and Cuba. I tell you why. Remember that the statue in Sidonga town, the Simon Bolivar statue with the man with the sword in his hand?
Yes.
Yeah? That man came to Jamaica as a refugee when he was trying to liberate Venezuela, Colombia, etc. Yeah? So we have an historical tie. What they did, which was even further depressing, the Venezuelans have said to them, well, the Americans have said to the Venezuelans, you can sell your oil, but anybody that is going to buy oil from you must come through Trafigura or Vital. So I'm asking the question, if that is the case, why haven't we gone to negotiate with the Americans? Because Andrew obviously coming and Andrew
right.
puppet. So why haven't you been able to secure a deal which allows you to now access the oil and gas supplies in Venezuela and also reach out to them, to the Americans, to say, look, we need to get back further back up to oil piling.
Right. Right. I wonder though, head boy, is it possible that the relationship with the Chinese is impeding them from even attempting to do that? Because I saw an article that came out on Hour Today where they're saying that they're going to cut off the aid from Jamaica, the United States, and the Caribbean, all of the Caribbean, Jamaica included, but they specified in the article talking about Jamaica, and the man said, if a war should happen between the Chinese and America, what umbrella is Jamaica standing under? And they went on to talk about the many businesses that the Jamaica is involved in with China, and the ports, the ports that Chinese have some type of managerial control over.
Listen to me. My program moving nasty sell out self-aspect, right? I tell people this. Yeah?
Yo!
You don't have no regard for Marco Rubio.
Whoa.
Right?
Yes.
I tell people this. What the United States is doing is wrong. But I don't mind what they're doing to Andrew. And please, Rubio, step up the pressure upon him.
Please. Yes, man. Please.
No. This is an embarrassment to a state, a recognized state.
Yes.
A state that has the right to determine who are its friends and who are its enemies.
Right.
But you see, when you play with fire, it burns. When you play with fire, it burns.
True.
Now, why is Google doing this? And by the way, to say that they're cutting aid to the Caribbean, they're never going to give in the first place, sir.
Say that again.
The American aid in the Caribbean is 10 times lower than what it gives to Israel.
Well, that is true. That's a fact. That's a fact.
They give Israel over $400 billion a year
400
in defense aid.
Damn.
Yeah? And budgetary support.
Wow.
Let us go further. What this USAID used to give, if you add up maybe on an annual basis, they give around 10-15 million US in projects.
Yeah.
That's nothing. So this American, this Yankee imperialistic behavior, that for some reason, because you give us $15 million, you must come suck us dry and tell us what to do. It's wrong. And this is the only time I will actually
in the article they say it's 50 million them give US 50 million every year for aid.
Yeah.
50 million.
50 million is what? is what some people see out of Petrodam. And more. 50 million is what they'll take up on vacation.
Mighty God. No, sir.
That is rum money. That is rum money. So when you're really talking these things, you see how these guys have played our mind. But I agree with America, and where I stand with America on this is that we cannot allow Chinese state enterprises to be coming into the Caribbean and competing with our local enterprises.
True.
For example, there's no way you should have China by engineering company operating in Jamaica. It should not. Because from Peak and BOLO. Remember when I grew up, you understand that some of the contractors, they do some shady work and some shabby work. But you still have good contractors in Jamaica.
True.
China are by getting all the roads, you know.
What I respect about China is that would never happen in their country.
No, they'll never allow it.
They'll never allow it.
They will never allow it. So this obsession that Rubio has, this China phobia and Cuba and Venezuela phobia, tell him to go to some psychologist or psychiatrist before him pop a pill. Yeah, because if you try to speak him pop a pill and put in his mouth, it's an antidepressant to kind of calm anxiety. Yeah? So the reality of it is we must determine who our friends are.
Right.
And because Andrew is so conflicted and they don't have the balls to stand to these guys. But I agree with them. Like, for example, why is Fly Green not telling people in St. Elizabeth who right now would love to see Alpart open that there will be no opening of Alpart?
Really?
In now open the plant on a name now go open China only, the company name JISPO. Go check it out. JISPO. JISPO is a state entity. And America has sanctioned. America told us in no uncertain terms that we need not to have China in our backyard with any aluminum manufacturing. In fact, don't be surprised if you hear within the next year or two, in those group funding that they have, that is an American company now own Alpha.
Wow. Yeah, because that's what the article is talking about. The America is going to align themselves and give aid to persons that the countries that actually use
do business with them. But they cannot force us because don't let them bullshit us. I am not anti-Chinese. As a matter of fact, I love the Chinese more than I love the American government. Yes. The Chinese have never intervened in our elections. I can show you time and time again where America has intervened in our democracy. That's one. Two, American business people. I know multi-millionaires from America. Yeah? Yes. Wealthy people. I've met, in my field, I've met wealthy people. And I said to them, would you invest in Jamaica? The first thing, Jamaica is a shit-old place, man. I'm not going down there, man. Yeah? Oh. So the reality of it is, the Chinese come with their money that they get from their state company to invest, and they're investing in our place, right? I don't agree with some of the arrangements and all of that. So we can all agree that some of the arrangements are not right.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
But if an investor goes where an investor, he's welcome.
Also, so hold on the head boy. Hold on there. We have to get back. So the company was saying Jester Group.
JISPO.
Oh, it's spelled
JISPO.
JISTO. Oh, yes. All right, continue. Continue. I eat my look. Continue.
Yeah. So why are we now cutting people who are coming to invest? If the Americans don't want to invest in Jamaica, tell them to fire them. Yeah? We don't care. You welcome investments wherever they come from, with people who are willing to respect your local laws and your local rules.
Yes.
We urge more Americans through AmCham, American Chamber of Commerce, to invest in Jamaica. If you don't know why invest, another people have stop red eye and bad mind.
Mighty God.
And that is what it is. It is typical red mind. As the only thing that word I like when you use is bad mind. In relation to this. It's bad mind. I know a company in Atlanta, in Georgia, they're the largest road construction company. And I said to them, why don't you come and invest in Jamaica? Me? I'm not going into Jamaica. Jamaica's fine. Jamaica's this, Jamaica's that. Yeah?
Wow.
So
I can't rank them neither, no man. I mean, when you look with it, no matter if you're a sensible investor and you look and you see the Prime Minister of the country's assets cannot be certified. And you see all this scamming going on, how much people are get catch for all of these things. I mean, why would you as an investor come here? The corruption stink, brother.
Yeah, no, I agree. But The Chinese don't care about that.
And that me I said it's no
And that
business.
is the point. So if you who live in your backyard, remember we Americans more understand us than the Chinese, you know, because we're more related to the Americans in terms of our interaction, our family members and everything, right? That is what we need to be pushing to get more American companies to invest in Jamaica, right? So that we can have at least have a balance. Because I have a problem with too much Chinese companies.
I do as well.
Who's
I
going to
do.
invest?
Yeah, I don't like the monopoly. I don't like it.
But who's going to invest?
You know, that, hey, it's a rock and a hard place.
All the cost them cost China. All the cost them cost China. Had it not been for a Chinese firm that did the Foreign Affairs Ministry, where everybody was for the spy embassy and this and that, we would not have had our building code removed from 15 story to 17 story. Yeah?
Wow.
The Chinese have transformed how we build in Jamaica. Some parts of Jamaica look up in the sky. Brethren, there's some people who think Jamaica is a poverty place, and when they go to Jamaica and start with some of the buildings that are going up, it is important that you have some of those things. Why aren't American firms coming to do it too? Why aren't Canadian firms coming? Why aren't British firms coming and doing the same thing?
Right.
These people in some of their rights are private investors. So I have no problem with Chinese private investors, you know. The problem I have with is government of China investors, because you can't compete against them. It's the state against the state.
Right.
So we need to get this brainwash thing that Americans have put in our head, that everything China is bad. It's not totally true.
Right.
Because America depends on China. If China control America, then America imports the most goods from China.
True.
But they're telling you can't handle this with China. What kind of nonsense?
That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
So I want to put that China argument to rest. He said that Rubio could put himself where he should put himself, because Rubio is a sellout and Rubio is racist. And I say so, this American administration in Washington is racist to the core. Very racist, and they're also a Zionist administration. Why they're going after Jamaica and Cuba and the other places that have not supported them is because all the Caribbean states have recognized Palestine. All the Caribbean, we have to understand the Jews in America, and we're not discriminating anybody. Everybody has a space. Christian, Jews, Muslims, whatever you want to do.
Right.
You're welcome.
Right.
But the point is, we have to call a spade a spade.
Quite so.
These countries are being punished because of our stand against Israel. Next tomorrow morning, all of the Caribbean come and oh, we're in full support of Israel, and so it's start to flow from American here.
Right. Right.
You cannot separate these two. The war that is happening in the Middle East is because Netanyahu commanded and demand that Trump attack Iran.
Yes, yes.
The worst sort of people with the worst state we have in the world is the Zionist regime. I don't call them up Israel, the Zionist regime.
Mighty God.
Yeah? They are the ones who are actually going after countries who don't support them. And they are the ones who are determining foreign policy. When one person can take up children and be a president of one country and say, your campaign money, they're going to run. And they talk about our democracy. The Americans, at least in Jamaica, a billionaire by the name of Peter Bunting and Mark Gold, no matter how much money they had, they could win the election. Yeah?
True.
But in America, a billionaire by Donald Trump and a billionaire by the name of Donald Trump and Tesla Bob could win the election by influencing it by the money. So don't let them come to this thing about telling about democracy and our democracy. Even though we know we have our problems.
Yes,
we know
yes.
we have our issues.
Like everybody else.
But like everybody else. So this notion about America and America helping us. When has America ever helped us? When? You show me when. The little thing they did in Islam is not, that's normal. Everybody else saw each other in the hurricane. Venezuela was the first to give us the Islam.
I'm not recognized. I was not recognized. I was not received by the government. Shameful.
Well, I don't want to go off tangent, but when I speak about these things, I'm passionate because you know why? Because our people need to wake up and
True, man.
Stop sipping the Kool-Aid.
True.
Right now, our farm in Jamaica want to export the goods. The Americans have imposed 30 to 40% tariff on breadfruit. Breadfruit.
Wow.
But we have Canada who is saying to us, come, ship your food, come to me. We not put no tariff for you. The
Canadians are going to. The Canadians are going to love that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm saying to the people as I go, brother, that we must prepare in our mind that America is not going to. America is falling, the hegemony of America is something, When a country like Iran, who has been sanctioned for 47 years, can be beating America in the Middle East, can be bringing them that even American citizens are now in support of what Iran is doing. What do you say?
Yes.
We need to look at the Prime Minister of Canada saying the global South-to-South arrangement is changing, the global order is changing, and we need to make friends who are our friends, not necessarily friends because they demand that we become friends.
True.
Yeah?
True.
I mean, I make no apology for saying everybody know why I start. I'm not anti-America. I have family in America. I respect the people of America, but I do not recognize the regime that is in America. Like I don't recognize the regime that is in Israel, because these are corrupted people. How could you have even a president been associated with certain information about Epstein?
Yeah, I mean, yo, brother.
It doesn't cringe.
Crazy.
It doesn't cringe anybody in themselves.
Crazy.
Right? But they could come to tell you, you did this and you did that. So you are this. We need to change that approach. And my final thing in relation to Darrell, when are you going to resign? That's the only thing I have to ask Darrell.
Mighty God.
Are you going to resign? You are serving the Ministry of Energy in a conflicted way. You know where allegiances are. You know who you prefer. Because when the Minister of Energy comes, everywhere we can them in a bottom. A 50% reduction, right? In their fuel consumption tax, in the clearance of fuel and difference of every Caribbean country. You know what Andrew issued to us? He sent direct. That's what Andrew gave us. He sent direct to come talk to us.
My
and
God.
that cannot help us.
Yo.
Urging the people of Jamaica to reject this nonsensical notion from Darrell that fuel is super high, when we know that that is not the truth, because you cannot buy fuel on spot. You buy fuel on a 1-year contract. And we need to see the contract they have with these fuel companies. Because it could be that Petrodom is paying $70 for the fuel. Well, Petrodom is paying $85 for the fuel, but it's really $70. Where the 15?
It's the markup. It's the markup.
Where the markup going? Who getting the markup?
Wow.
Anyway, brother.
I appreciate you, my brother.
Sorry for being so long.
No, man, you're good, man.
In America, we get passionate.
Yes. No, man, you're good, man. I know you're always welcome on the platform, you know what I mean? Because you have a wealth and knowledge, so we appreciate it. You understand?
Yeah, man. And keep on, one thing I want to tell, and I want to say to your subscribers, keep on subscribing. Bolo, you have made yourself a household name. If I miss Andre Stevens, if I miss Rocky David, you will listen to the evaluation program. You have a niche market, and I want people to understand. Listen to Bolo sometimes, because you are able to break down some things that sometimes we don't see.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Respect, brother. Yeah, man. Wow.
Hey, massive amount of respect to head boy, ladies and gentlemen. Storm up the comment section. I'm sure there's many things that you heard that you could go and and really get into in the comment section about. Let me know what you think. Alright. Don't forget to like the video before you leave. Share the video. Yeah. This one was epic. This one was epic from Headboy. Appreciate the brother. And salute to him and thanks for the words of encouragement. You know what I mean? So best up on yourself. Alright, my people, I am going to leave it there for tonight. Thank you all so much for your continued support. Get off all of them pictures off my screen. Before I leave, I set up this thing here, display picture. Bam, there we go. And cut out the browser, cut out that, the camera and everything. Alright guys, see y'all later. Appreciate y'all. For everybody, hey, the people that don't catch this replay, I feel sorry for y'all, man. Well, you know, y'all should have been here. That's all I'm saying. But you know, hey, y'all missed class tonight. Tonight is what, Tuesday, I guess persons are tired, persons are at work watching the debate and they're locked in, all of the viewers or whatever. And of course, it's been a busy day. So me not to, you know what I mean? Me not to knock my people. But I thought more people would have been here tonight. I really did. Um, but something happened on my channel, and I'm wondering if it's YouTube that's causing this. Because I put up a video and I thought it was funny, but YouTube was like, yo, violation, you know, so hey, maybe that's why my numbers are down tonight from where it usually would be. But I encourage you guys to hit the like button even more because of that, because if you don't, then you're sending the wrong signal to YouTube. And the same thing for those on TikTok. If you want the platform to be successful, you have to keep tapping and sharing and sending gifts and engaging, you know what I'm saying? As much as possible. Wherever you are, if you can like and share, if that's all you can do, that is essential and it's free. If you can do more, that is super awesome. You get me? So, and I want to say thank you to my brother Calvin that came through. He sent something to the Cash App. Appreciate you, my brother. And yeah, see y'all tomorrow, man. See y'all later. I'm out. Peace. See y'all later.